In today's video, I decided to play the second episode of Fears 2 Fathom. And if you haven't seen the last video, go watch it, please. But anyway, in this episode, we play as Holly Gardner, a 21-year-old on an interstate drive who experiences unusual events that lead to an unplanned stay at a motel. So strap in your seatbelt and prepare yourself for what you're about to witness unfolding before your very eyes. Also, one more thing, smash like if you do enjoy. Thank you. This convention I was at went great, and it was now the day to drive back home. But when I set off, I soon realized the traffic was horrible. So I decided that I'd take the long way to avoid the traffic. It was a little over a 12-hour drive. The game begins with Holly cruising down the roadway. And about halfway through, Holly realizes that she is low on gas and that she needs to stop by a gas station. Luckily, she finds one not far from where she was at, and she heads inside to talk to the cashier. He tells her about how many people have gone missing when they head towards Norwood Valley, and the people who went looking for them have never returned. Before Holly heads out, the cashier tells her if she sees a woman in a white or blue gown trying to get a ride, do not stop for her, as apparently she is a vengeful spirit who died in a car crash on prom night. Some people even say she suffered a much worse fate, being harassed and ultimately murdered by the unknown. After hearing this terrifying information, Holly heads back to her car to get home as fast as possible. As Molly is driving, did I just say fucking Molly? As Holly is driving, the radio in her car starts to get distorted. Holly then sees two big logs blocking her path, so she gets out of her car to inspect it. Using all of her strength, she pushes both of the logs out of the way, and with that being done, she goes back to her car to continue her journey home. The car wouldn't start back up. Well, shit. With Holly's car being broken down in the middle of nowhere, with no phone service, she has no other choice than to stick up her thumb and hitchhike. After waiting for a while, she sees a truck in the distance who drives right by her. About 20 minutes later, another truck noticed Holly on the side of the road, so they pulled over to give her a ride. When Holly reaches the window, the guy turns out to be a customer from the gas station. He tells her to hurry up and throw her stuff in the back of his truck so they can get a move on. After she does exactly that, she gets in, and the stranger tells her that his name is Jason. He then tells her that the cashier at the gas station was delusional and that he tells everyone that story who comes in. Jason also goes on about certain beings that may have been the cause of Holly's car breaking down, and as long as she doesn't bother them, they won't bother her. After this very awkward and silent car ride, Jason drops Holly off at the nearest motel, which happens to offer roadside services. She walks up to the receptionist and he informs her not to wake up the other guest, and that one of his buddies will help her with her car in the morning. Holly then walks over to her room, where she is surprised to find the man lurking inside of it. The stranger tells her his name is Tommy and that he does room service for the place. Tommy asks her to step outside so he can finish making her room. When he's done, Holly lays down on the bed, looking to catch some Z's. Just then, she noticed that there was someone peeking in at her through her room window. Holly gets up from her bed, feeling quite tense, thinks it's a good idea to... Wait a minute. Holy shit. A cup of coffee? Oh my god, finally! Something good actually happens to me. You just gotta walk on over to the machine. Almost done processing. Hey, maybe this isn't so bad after all. Yeah, so that coffee you drink actually makes you trip fucking balls, and Holly is forced to stumble back to her room. She then face plants on the bed unconscious. She wakes up around 3:20 a.m. to the sound of the door knocking. She answers it and turns out it's Joe from the front desk, who is rather pissed off because he's been getting noise complaints from us making, and I quote, goofy noises. Joe points out that Holly's eyes are red and she goes to tell him about the coffee machine, and Joe responds by telling us that they don't have a coffee machine. Holly offers to show him where it is, but when they both go over there to look, the machine has mysteriously disappeared. Joe, still feeling quite mad, tells Holly to get back to her room where she can find some medication to relieve her. She goes back and lays down on the bed, about to drift off until she is interrupted by an unknown voice coming from the outside of the door. She asks who's there, but the stranger ignores the question and begs her to open the door because he needs help. Holly pleads with him to leave, but the stranger keeps insisting that she needs to open the door for him. After threatening to call the police if he didn't skedaddle, the stranger then starts violently trying to kick down the door, causing Holly to run and hide into the closet. The stranger is able to break the door down, and he starts to inspect the room, hoping to find Holly. He goes inside of the bathroom to look. That's when, holy shit, Joe the receptionist comes in to save the day by hiding next to the door and catching the stranger by surprise. After this event occurred, Joe tells Holly not to get the police involved because it would leave a bad reputation on the motel. Holly believes that the town could possibly be home to a cult, a drug ring, or something much, much worse. From the logs blocking the road, to Holly's car breaking down, to the spiked coffee machine, and the goofy noises we were making while we were sleeping, all of this seems to be connected to this stranger, whose intentions were unknown. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.